Go ahead.
I'm ready.
Wait a minute.
Let me also record.
I will do Facebook.
Just in
Wait
case.
a minute. One second, please. Great.
Hey, Lisa, so you can hear me, right?
Yes.
We are live.
So I'm going to do a short introduction, but if for whatever reason I start to break up and you can't hear me, just either go like this or just start.
Okay. So, gotcha.
Okay. Well, go ahead. I'm going to record too. Okay, so and we've got a couple people on, which is great, and a few more that may be joining us. So welcome to those that have just joined, and thank you for coming again today for part 2, being hosted by All Life is Yoga here at La Grasse and Fountain in South Carolina. And if you were here Sunday night, you realize that this is a continuation of what Lisa shared with us on a plant-based natural approach to self-care. We went 90 minutes.
And still we didn't complete our presentation, so now we want to complete it. Yes, please, Lisa.
Okay, thank you. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. And if you're just jumping in now, I would like to just take a moment to say I'm Lisa Collins, and I am a health and wellness educator with essential oils and a plant-based approach in lots of things that we do. On Sunday night, I'd just like to take about 5 minutes for a quick recap in case you missed us. And we had discussed a whole lot about gut health and microbiome, and the conditions in our gut do cause a lot of the factors that we're dealing with health issues today. And a lot of the things that we need to consider are reducing the toxins, and doing so, we'd have to educate ourselves a little bit, and reading and understanding our labels and knowing our sources and ingredients, eating cleaner, exercising daily, and proper sleep. They're all detrimental for homeostasis, which is a very good balance for our bodies to be in a natural, healthy state. There are several links that were sent out in an email to explain a whole lot of touch points that we discussed. So for you to go back to refer to, because it was a lot of information. If you were unable to watch the part 1 or have not seen it, I believe that Rade could make that link available to you for that part 1 webinar, and also share with you the necessary links to support the information there as well. So I encourage you to watch that first, and so we can understand what affects our health, and so that way maybe we can prevent, because I like to think of it as root cause, and to help our situation, because we first have to understand what is making our conditions the way they may be for our health before we can address it properly. So those can be emailed upon request. Now, I didn't get to finish up on the sleep segment, so I just wanted to touch on that just a tiny bit more before I move into the actual essential oils and application and use and how they work and all that good stuff. Sleep is definitely one of the most important things that we need to make a priority in our lives. And while we're sleeping, our bodies are repairing and restoring restoring itself, especially our gut. It is a time that our gut is at rest. And I had discussed even in part 1 a little bit about intermittent fasting, and there's several ways to do that, certainly along with your physician, if you consider any of that, to give our gut a chance to heal and to detox. But what happens is when there's toxins in our body from some of the environmental exposures and foods we eat and chemicals that might absorb into our body, it can disrupt our circadian rhythm, which is the sleep and wake cycles that actually happen naturally in our body. And this cycle takes an important, it's an important part of our brain in the pineal gland. The hormone melatonin is produced. Now, as we get older, the melatonin does start to naturally decline. So we want to start looking for other ways to support that via supplementation, and there are other essential oils that can help that. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But this, in the pineal gland, this is where this sleep and wake cycle helps us to know when to fall asleep and when to wake. And without the sleep that we need, there could be further disruption that can cause a lot of health issues. So we all know when we have those days of, didn't get enough sleep, we just don't function properly at all. And our attitudes aren't that great either. So you have to think about what time do you go to sleep at night, and, trying to come up with a good routine is important. Once in a while we may need to be up late or we can't sleep, but the more routine that we can have, the better. So setting up a good sleep regimen is important, maybe winding down for the night with a little bit of light yoga or meditation exercise, accompanied with oils to diffuse for sleep. We'll talk about some of those in a little while. Turning off your electronics earlier, perhaps, because they're a stimulant. Avoiding food and sugary beverages, alcohol, at least 3 hours before bedtime is a good rule of thumb. And the other hard thing that you may run into, which I think a lot of us may have been there or may still be, is that if you have babies or very small children, that is a part of life, and more than likely that will get better. So you just have to grin and bear it and sleep when you can and get through it. And that's hard, but hopefully that's definitely temporary. And if you happen to be an around the clock caregiver, these are things that are important because you still have to work and you have to find a way to get your sleep as well. So you just need to do whatever it is you possibly can do, and just to make sure that you don't overextend yourself. And if you really need help for the time being, you need to get help, because you need to get sleep, like assistance in some of that care if it is around the clock. So if you still can't sleep, some other practical solutions I was going to mention are some natural supplements like a melatonin. And for some people, they say that doesn't work for me. You want to make sure you always find a good quality, because some brands don't have a high percentage of the actual melatonin that we need in them. Plant-based essential oil supplements, such as in Young Living, they have some supplements that have essential oils in it, which actually increase the absorption rate of the actual vitamin or supplement that we're needing by like 50–60%. So that's something to consider. Lavender, cedarwood, vetiver, valerian, patchouli, those are a few essential oils that are very supportive of sleep. And we're going to get into some more application methods and stuff shortly. So another thing you can consider is having like a cup of chamomile tea, which has got chamomile has properties to be very calming, a warm shower, or even a bath. And also limiting caffeine. I mentioned sugar and alcohol, caffeine. Stay away from caffeine. So even green tea could be a little bit too much caffeine before bed. So it depends. Believe it or not, even reading could help you be tired. If you're still awake, I say educate yourself. So read books on natural ways to help you get sleep and other natural approaches for life. Keep in mind, these things really don't take a lot of effort, just a little bit of your commitment to say, I'm doing this. Self-care is important. A well-rested, healthfully fed, exercised body is going to just set the pace for smoother days, clear mind, clear thinking. Are there any questions before I move on to essential oils and gut health and applications? We're good for now? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to share my screen for just one moment on one image here. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. All right. Essential oils can have a positive effect on our gut microbiome. And some essential oils are effective in decreasing bad bacteria and support good bacteria in our gut as well. It has been suggested that combining probiotics with essential oils can be very effective in improving our gut health. Many studies have shown positive effects on how they can help gut bacteria. None have shown any negative effects. I have a few study findings of reference that I can share with you in just a moment. And that might even be sent in a link in a little while, because some of the statistics and stuff, I don't want to kill too much time on that, where if I have a few minutes, I'll come back to it. Let's see. For example, essential oils containing thyme, oregano, rose, and geranium can suppress small intestinal pathogens such as bad bacteria. Essential oils have different effects on human pathogenic in the body. Oils good for supporting a healthy gut microbiome, for instance, are like peppermint, caraway, fennel, ginger, clary sage, grapefruit, basil, and that's just to name a few. There are so many, and they have so many specific abilities. We're going to get into that as well shortly. All right, and I think I put this up a little too soon, though, the limbic system and how our sense of smell and aromatherapy. So I'm going to just jump ahead to that. I had switched something earlier, and it was for a reason. But
can I ask something
yes.
here?
So I'm going to.
Right, it's me. Because I have this sense, very interesting sense of what the smell does. Because what is really smell? Yeah, it is the particles which travel through air and go in. It's a physical particle. It's not just some air, some kind of fragrance which comes from just spirit. It's not a spiritual sense. It's a very material part which travels and touches our receptacles directly, and not only touches, being absorbed by receptacle, put into bloodstream, so we know exactly what we are dealing with. And not only, it becomes a most quintessential kind of cure, as homeopathy is, yes, going through our receptacles. The same, this is a very subtle cure system of some, I just never thought of it before, but now for the first time I see that it has its material input. You are muted for some reason. Lisa, I can't hear you. Sorry. Is your microphone disconnected or something? It's not really giving in. And can you ask what is going on? No, we can't hear you. I can't hear you. Sorry. There's something with your connection to the... Do you see the green light coming up when you speak on the microphone? Is it only me who do not hear? Radha, do you hear her?
No, I don't hear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
I'm
you.
coming in on my phone. I decided for the audio. No, it's a new microphone system.
Oh,
Whoops.
you're back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I just switched to my computer microphone because I think this microphone has been giving me a little bit of trouble. That could be why.
Okay.
Am I clear enough?
Yeah. Well, that one was better, but still.
I know. I don't want to waste too much time trying to get it figured out right now. And it's kind of new, so I'm still learning on that. But you're absolutely right. Aromatherapy, when they're inhaled, when essential oils are inhaled, the odor impulses are sent to our olfactory part of the brain, the limbic system, as that picture I had up for a little while showing. I figured I'd take it down now, but it passes through actually 50 million smell receptors called cilia, which goes through that limbic system, and it activates the region of the brain, and they can actually go to work to repair and clean those receptor sites to enhance or release emotions from our memory that are stored there, including emotions that have been stored in our DNA for previous generations, which I find very interesting. This stuff can go real deep, but we're not going to go too deep tonight. They work on supporting the whole body and all the systems. But what is a receptor and how does it work? Well, in a nutshell, they basically is like an instruction manual and tell the cells what they need to do. There are protein molecules that have binding sites, and then they form different types of molecules. And then it communicates with your brain through electrical signals. So I think that's pretty interesting. So like when you smell lavender, you go, oh, that smells so good. And then you smell a wet dog and you go, ooh, that doesn't smell so good. So that's how the connection, with certain smells. And you had mentioned yesterday, Vladimir, about our taste buds and that they also have receptors. So like when we eat food or drink, it interacts with the saliva and the molecules bind to those taste receptors in our mouth and then come in contact with the nerve cells, which then communicate with the particular flavor in your brain. And then we have memory and so on and so forth. Another example of receptors is touch in action. Like, so like even peppermint, essential oil, it's actually warming on the skin. So you're going to feel that. When it's applied on our skin, an essential oil, it triggers the receptors on our skin as well. And it sends a cooling signal to the brain. So that's why you can feel the tingling sensation all over your skin. Anytime you apply or rub or massage an essential oil into your skin, you experience starts with the sensory, called the sensory receptors. And they're all over our body. Very powerful stuff. I guess before I want to ask a couple questions, ask anybody who has any questions. I have a pretty funny sensory story. I have this muscle rub stuff called Cool Azul, and it was late at night. And between me and my husband, we have our, aches and pains and whatnot. And I don't know how it wound up on his night table, but he goes, can you, put a little bit on my back or something? I said, sure. So I put a little bit of massage oil on his back and rubbed it in for a minute. And he goes, that feels kind of weird. He goes, that doesn't feel like the Cool Azul. And the light was kind of low and I couldn't see. And I looked, and I don't know if I grabbed the wrong thing, but it was the tube of toothpaste. And now we use this toothpaste called Thieves, and it has essential oils in it also. So it's hot oil. So it brushes your teeth. It's got cloves, cinnamon bark. So the bottle was almost the same size, a little dark. So basically I put toothpaste on his back, but he said it still helped because it had the warming oils in it. So I just thought that was really funny for a sensory thing. So you want to be careful. I'm glad I didn't go to brush my teeth with the muscle rub, because that would have been pretty powerful. Okay, is there any questions before I move on to, I wanted to talk a little bit about, and even before we get to application and a lot of neat things we can do with essential oils, I do want to touch a little bit on herbs and Ayurveda as well, and the types of herbs that are good for that. Anybody have any questions at this point? Okay. All right, so herbs, I would like to say, you look at the herbs that are out there, and you want to see if you can find an equivalent in the EO. So essential oil, not all of them, or every company extracts every possible herb that's out there. But if you can get benefits from herbs, you're just going to get it that much more powerful from the essential oil. So it's just up to you. You could use, I use both really. I use more of the fresh herbs in cooking, but I do have a lot of vitality essential oils, which are FDA approved for safe consumption. Whereas when you get into oregano and thyme and peppermint and all the citrus oils and basil and marjoram, list goes on, that you can use in cooking as well. But you actually only want to use like 1 drop of essential oil versus a teaspoon or a tablespoon of the dried herb. And I can find information on that if anybody wants to know more about that. So for an example, herbs that could be good to support the gut, since we've been talking a little bit about that, marshmallow root, licorice root, fennel, garlic. Eat lots of garlic. That's a natural antibiotic. It is so good for you in so many ways. Ginger, same thing. Turmeric, clove, cinnamon, peppermint. They all have so many wonderful properties to keep our immune system strong, have antiviral, antimicrobial properties. It's nature's medicine. So we have 2 types of herbs that are called bitter herbs and carminative herbs, if I can pronounce that appropriately. The carminative herbs are rich and very rich in the volatile EOs, are warming to the digestive tract, better to process digestion, reduce gas, like fennel, cumin, lemon balm, to name a few, dill, nutmeg. There's so many. Anise. Then there's bitter herbs. Bitter herbs stimulate the vagus nerve, and which stimulates the digestion and can reduce gas and bloating and symptoms of food allergies and indigestion, such as chamomile, valerian, dandelion, to name a few. Now, the reason why we talk about these different kinds of herbs, because I understand in summary research in Ayurveda, there are herbs that you suggest for your dosha type, your unique characteristics and your constitution and how you tend to maybe be. And if you're a Pitta, which I think clearly I'm a Pitta that I have studied, you tend to maybe have inflammation in the body or skin rashes or allergies. So you would want to go lean towards your bitter herbs that are cooling in nature. Chamomile, now the herb, chamomile tea. You can have a glass of water with a drop of chamomile essential oil in it. You can add some chamomile to a body cream and apply that to your skin so that you can diffuse chamomile essential oil while you're drinking your chamomile tea out of the herb. So it's pretty cool. You can really give yourself a good dose of chamomile and calm yourself down. But you can also take that along with some warming herbs like ginger and cardamom for a healthy balance. So you still want to enjoy the herbs you would like to enjoy. Then in bitter herbs, in the cooling nature, taken along with the warming herbs, like I said, you got your vata. Vata tend to be aggravated, bloating, anxiety. That could be some of the negative characteristics. Of course, we want to eliminate the negative and make it move towards the positive. So you need more of the carminative type warming herbs, ginger, ashwagandha, peppermint. And then the same goes for the kapha, where they can also have some aggravation, bloating. I'm sorry, wrong one. Sinus and congestion. Yeah, that's the kapha, and weight gain, which contributes to some of that congestion and sinus as well. You want to go with more of the carminative warming herbs, such as the turmeric and ginger. And that's just a brief touch on that. But I wanted to at least mention that because they, I know that in Ayurveda, herbs and even use of essential oils is definitely something that is prevalent. Are there any questions? Okay. All right. So what are essential oils? Let's just get into that for just a minute. They are actually vital fluids of the plant. They are the plant's lifeblood defense mechanism, and they are what the plant needs to stay alive. Well, guess what? They can help out us humans too. We can get the essential oil from leaves, rinds, bark, roots of the plant, stems, so many parts of the plant, wherever they can get that volatile liquid from. And they're not really oils, like oily where it can stain, like a carrier oil such as coconut oil or vegetable oil, because they do not contain fatty acids like olive oil or coconut oil, which are wonderful for diluting essential oils with. And we refer to those as carrier oils, which reduces the absorption rate into the skin. So for example, if I just banged my knee and I want to tone it down, cool it down, and give it a little bit of anti-inflammatory property help, I will put some peppermint, a couple drops right on my knee. But now if it's a little bit hot, a little hotter than I would like, I could just put couple drops, a little, finger dab of some coconut oil, mix it right in there, slows down the absorption rate. You're still going to get the benefits. You're still going to get the help, but it just won't feel as hot. I could put it straight on. I'm like, that feels good. I want the warmer, the better. But they absorb into your skin very quickly and go to work on a cellular level fast. That's what's kind of neat about essential oils. But, there are times when, like, I don't really, honestly, for myself, I don't take ibuprofen anymore for a headache and stuff like that. I use my essential oils. And sometimes I have to wait about 10 minutes for it to really feel like it's penetrating, resonating, and going to work, because, your body still has to work and understand what it's receiving and do its thing. But they are wonderful. And it's just so easy to just grab a quick little boop, 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 and not have to worry about side effects and some of the other junk in the medicines. If we can avoid it, always try a natural approach first. And if that doesn't work, you talk with your physician, you see what you can do. But always talk with your physician before using essential oils and herbs, for that matter, with health conditions such as pregnancy, epilepsy. If you're on other medications, there could be some interaction. So it's always good to consult your physician and have a reference guide of some sort. I had mentioned this yesterday, but I would like to just mention it one more time briefly. Life Science Publishers, I can also send those links later, have a reference guide such as this, and it has from A to Z, as many herbs as you can imagine, essential oil. This is more of an essential oil. But when they discuss the properties and what they're good for and how they could be used in recipes, you probably get the same benefits from herbs too, but keeping in mind you would need that many more pounds of herbs to equal 1 drop of essential oil. So you can really do some amazing medicinal approach using essential oils as well. Oh, and there's also, and now these couple of ones from Life Science Publishers, they happen to be Young Living friendly as far as the single oils and the blends that they carry, but so does many other companies. I would just caution you to be very particular on the company you choose. You want a good quality oil. We're going to talk about that a little bit in a minute. Here's another reference guide I showed yesterday, but since we are going to talk about essential oils more today, a desk reference guide like this is incredible. You can find just everything you need in there to get started, from soup to nuts, and you can just take it low and slow, one thing at a time. So, all right, how do essential oils work? We did that part already. Now I want to talk about how fast they work. Are there any questions before I move forward? No? Okay. All right, there are 3 main properties of essential oils. There are many, but the ones that are the most prominent that do a lot of the work, like cleaning receptor cells, as we discussed before. You have phenols that clean and repair damaged receptor sites, okay? So, and having natural abilities to do so, oils that might be high in phenols would be like oregano, cinnamon bark, basil, clove. Some of the oils I make up my immune roller with right here for immune support. And I will show you a little bit later how I would do that. Very, very simple to do. Takes only 5 minutes to whip up a quick little roller to apply to support your immunity every day. Okay, then you have something called sesquiterpenes. Sometimes I mispronounce that. And that is the ability to bring oxygen to the blood-brain barrier, which is your emotional processing center, and can potentially help to erase or reprogram miswritten codes. There is studies and research out there all over the place. And it's just amazing. Oils high in sesquiterpenes, I have to say it slowly, is cedarwood and vetiver, for example. Frankincense, very high. Lavender, myrrh. And essential oils have actually, like, just, they're so small that they can, the reason why they can break through the blood-brain barrier is because there's actually 40 million trillion molecules, like in just 1 drop of essential oil. And so they could basically go through all the various systems in your body, produce responses it needs, and it's almost like as if it knows where to go in the body and what it needs. So like, for instance, if our bodies receive some lavender, some of its natural constituents that so it could be calming or relaxing, it'll just go and do that. It just knows how to do it. I wish I can explain how it happens, but it just works. And the other one is monoterpenes. They actually can help to reprogram cells and to do what they're supposed to do. Orange, grapefruit, balsam fir are some, to name a few. And what I like about the reference guide, and there's even an app that you can download from a link from Life Science Publisher. I think it's like $7. And you can go in there and you can, when you click on an oil, it'll tell you the constituents that are in it, what its abilities are, and recommendations and safety, and that helps. So I usually pick one at a time. Like if I need to research the oils, I go into sleep and I see the oils recommended for sleep. And that's where I start. You don't have to use all of them. You pick one, you try that, and then you go from there. But I like the fact that you have a little support even from a book, but then you can go to a person like myself, and I could be somebody of ongoing support. And I'll get into that later as well. Okay. All right, I said the reference guide. Now, and here's another interesting fact. Each drop of essential oil has anywhere from 80 to 300 chemical constituents, and each one of those has a job. That is just astounding to me. So if you actually create a blend, you could be going into the thousands of constituents that are going to work to do different things. And you're covering a lot of bases there. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So find out from the computer.
Okay, yeah, I seen she jumped off for a minute. So each constituent has a job, and there's so much that they could do. So you may be trying to address one thing, like maybe you're having a little bit of a headache or migraine or something to help relax or go to sleep. And that oil that you chose could be going into your body and doing other wonderful things at the same time. So that's pretty cool. So they can restore, revive, and even potentially reprogram some of our very cells.
So let me understand, you mean that actually it can never be damaging in some way. It will be always beneficial in some way to other parts of our being and and existence.
I believe so. I would have to caution, though, you can't go drinking a whole bottle of, lavender or something. I mean, you certainly don't want to moderation is the key to everything. I'm going to go over about my daily routine a little bit in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, a few times throughout the day. I guess you can go a little overboard, but it's the most overboard you can go with essential oils is if you chose probably more of the ingestion route, if you were to do dietary, and we're going to talk about that shortly. So plants are medicine. They can be dangerous too. So that's why a good reference guide is important, because it does have safety, and you have to learn a little bit before you do it. Just like any other modern medicine we get, it comes with a list of things. Essential oils aren't even that usually nerve-wracking, because it doesn't have like a gazillion side effects. They just recommend a couple drops and then to stick to that. You can take too many drops internally. It could do just some damage. Yes. So, and we definitely wouldn't want to have something like pennyroyal, because that's, poison. So not every plant is safe to ingest or to apply topically. And that's why it's important to be part of a support group, have a reference guide, do a little bit of homework first, and just make sure you're, erring on the safe side. Lavender, one quick mention of lavender, I think I mentioned this yesterday, is like a Swiss Army knife, because they can support burns and sleep and stress and respiratory and bruising. Lavender alone has 200 chemical constituents in just one drop. So it's on the higher end of the amount of properties that lavender has. I just think it's incredible. Okay, and without the harmful side effects is usually the coolest thing, is that we can apply and use and benefit from essential oils in a way with a lot less worry than some of the modern meds. Now, we might need modern meds. Again, talk to your physician, because I'm only sharing what I've learned and some of the resources that I have. But the studies are out there, and essential oils are amazing. Now, I just want to share. Let's see if I can do a quick screen share. Just give me one momento. Still kind of trying to get familiar with screen sharing here. Why orange? Let me show this.
You have to click on a share screen and then choose the screen you want to show. Or double click on the desktop. Yeah, we can see it.
All right, what are you seeing right now?
We see several pictures. Yeah.
Do you see just one picture now?
No, many pictures. We see a desktop.
Okay.
So you choose on the desktop what you want us to see.
Yeah, I thought I picked that, and it's just not. When I click on the one picture I want you to see, it's showing it big on my end, but not on your end.
Oh, it's weird. It should be on both ends.
I know.
If you go back again, stop sharing. Yeah? Just stop sharing, and then I'll start sharing. And if you double click on desktop, we will see what you see. Exactly the same. So
Okay.
the first window you double click, which is already selected.
All right, let's see, sticky notes. All right, now I don't even have my documents are open correctly. Well, you know what? I'm having a little bit of difficulty at the moment, so I don't want to spend too much time. There was just a little bit of visual. Basically, when you apply an essential oil, in 26 seconds, it will reach the blood system. In 2 minutes, it will reach your circulatory system. And within 26 to 28 minutes, it will penetrate every cell wall in your body. So in less than 30 minutes, like I was saying before, some things can take a little bit of time, it will reach your entire body. And because the molecules are so tiny, they can work on a level that is molecular, cellular. Okay. I'm going to be sending links later on, just so everybody knows, babies and children's safety guide too, and essential oil applications, because that's very important to have some extra links on, guidelines there, because there are guidelines to help you administer and apply oil safely. Because a lot of people go, how many drops and how many, so that's going to be important to know.
So basically, what you say is that essential oils are very powerful, actually, media for us, and can be also dangerous and can be very supportive. So it's not a small thing to look at. It's something much more powerful than we assume.
It is. And, if you're just going to decide to take it on, and, I don't want to say it's such a scary thing, because even when I started using it, I was like, okay. And then, I just read the instructions on a couple things, and okay, I'm going to try this first. And I started with stuff for sleep and something for just, for me, for pain, my back. I have a bad back. I have herniated discs and a slightly torn rotator cuff. And I haven't had to have surgery. I use these oils daily. Apply them, and I get relief, and I believe I'm getting healing from it as well, because it's just not, some modern meds unfortunately only have the ability to mask, temporarily give you relief, and really do nothing about the root cause. I believe, and the research is there, that essential oils have the abilities to actually heal, like we talked about, restore, repair, reprogram. And I don't think it's a coincidence, the healthier way I've been feeling, experiencing over almost 7 years now that I've been using essential oils. So
Lisa, if you can hear me or not, I had to transfer to my phone, so sorry, I'm coming in.
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you're still there.
Just to follow up on Vladimir's comment/question is, really the way that I've been taught, and I think you said this earlier, it's the digestible essential oils that you have to be very, very careful and not to digest those that shouldn't be digested, right? People get a little carried away sometimes and don't realize that many of them are never meant to be digested straight. And even those that are have the potential to be the most problematic if you don't use the right dosage. So I just wanted to add that kind of comment in there.
Absolutely. And I promise you, we're going to get into just 3 ways now to use them. And we are going to touch a little bit more on the actual digestive way and a little bit of the caution and what to understand about that. So, okay. So I'm going to be sending links to everybody later on how to use them, ways to use them, and all kinds of good stuff. So if you don't worry about writing anything down, just listen, enjoy, and you're going to get the recap in links and everything you'll need, and you'll be able to contact me. So 3 ways to use essential oils. We had discussed about the aromatherapy earlier, and that would be in a diffuser. And I think, let me see if I have a aromatic thing down here. Let me do that first and I'll jump back. Okay. So that's a great way to get the molecular abilities of these plants into our body, just simply by, I have one behind me, a diffuser, and I love to usually keep it right close to my desk or, right by my bedside. I have one in my kitchen. I have to confess, I have like 8 essential diffusers in my house, and even one in the garage for my dog. because it does calm her down when she's rambunctious, and she's an older dog, so we use lavender and some other blends for her that seems to really chill her out. And I'll even put a little bit on my hands and just brush her coat. But now I'm not going to talk about animals and essential oils. That's another whole ball of wax. Again, it's the quality of the oil. There are much more guidelines for animals and essential oils. If anybody's interested and needs to know more about that, they can contact me, and I can be glad to share tons of information, because that is just as important, if not more important, because they are different creatures than we are, and especially cats compared to dogs. But animals can actually benefit from essential oils as well. And back to Young Living, that's another reason why I do like them, because they do also have their own team of veterinarians, and they even created an entire guidebook similar to the one I just showed you before. I have it up there. I don't want to get up in the middle of the show here, but and it is yay thick on how to and safety and everything essential oils with animals, including equine for horses, rabbits, all kinds of farm animals, dogs, cats. It's incredible. So that's a neat thing to know. But just simple aromatherapy, and you don't have to have just a diffuser to do aromatherapy, where you'll put somewhere around 4 to 6 drops in with distilled water, or just you could do tap water, but the cleaner the water, the less buildup you'll get in your diffuser. And then just run it, and you can hang over it for a minute. And then if it's just in the room with you, you are breathing in all of these benefits. They are going into your body and working. That's what's happening. It's amazing. You can also just put a couple drops of an essential oil on your hand. You just put 1 drop on your hand and you rub it in, and then you can take a few deep breaths. And there you have it. That's aromatherapy too. Okay. Let's see, I wanted to jump back to topical application. Now, when you put an essential oil straight on your hand or on your skin, straight, when I mean straight, by not diluting it with anything, because these essential oils are pure and straight, and that's what you want to make sure you have. Nothing that's got added fillers and dilution. There's other things to look out for, we'll talk about in a minute. That is called neat, to apply neat, straight from the bottle. But I think a better and safer way, until you get more familiar with essential oils, is to use the fatty acid carrier oils, like I discussed before, to dilute them with, such as coconut oil. I also use, this is called a V6 vegetable complex, but it's got like all the good essential carrier oils, coconut oil and sunflower oil and jojoba oil, and a lot of other good oils to blend. To be careful for skin sensitivities, because some people have skin sensitivities as well. And then again, for the warming oils. But topical is because we have the skin has the senses too, and the cell receptors. So we're going to benefit topical application. My favorite way is making rollers. And I talked about that before. Essentially, this is a 10 milliliter bottle. You can go anywhere online to this, just Google essential oil accessories. There's plenty of them on Amazon, essential oil supply store. There's just tons of them. And, you just shop till you find the prices you like. And I mean, they're relatively not much more than about $1 an empty bottle. And I make up my own labels. You don't have to, you could just put a piece of tape and label it, Avery.com, and you can buy labels, and you can create your own little labels and have a little fun if you're into doing a little graphic stuff. So for instance, this is my immune boost roller. There's one on my night table, one on my husband's night table. My kids each have one. So this blend, I have cinnamon bark, clove, lemon, eucalyptus, frankincense, oregano, and grapeseed oil. Oh, grapeseed oil is my favorite carrier oil, by the way. And so I probably do like anywhere from 5 to 10 drops of each. I have some specific recipes I like to follow. And so maybe 30 to 40 drops total of an essential oil in here, take me about here, and then I fill the rest of the carrier. And then I gently do this, and I just created my own immunity blend. There's recipes for, and I'd be glad to share any of these recipes. And I will be sharing 2 recipes today, specifically one for sleep and relax and calm, and one for digestion, tummy troubles. Allergies. There are essential oils with abilities to have natural antihistamine effect and go to work for that. So lemon, lavender, peppermint, copaiba, carrier oil. Apply, breathe it in, neck, bottom of the feet, VitaFlex points. We're going to get into applications in just a minute. VitaFlex are a great way. Outer ears, your ears are another VitaFlex to get into your body. Okay, so that's my favorite way is the rollers. I wish I could share my screen right now because I really wanted to show. My husband made me an essential oil cabinet, like a medicine cabinet, but I wanted it to be a natural health cabinet. And I put my oils in there and some of my rollers in there, but they were also all over the house. They're in my pocketbook and on our night tables and in the kitchen, wherever we grab them and go, because it's part of our lifestyle now. That sooner or later, it just can become part of your lifestyle, and it's just so easy. So instead of grabbing for going to the store to get these nasal inhalers and ibuprofens and all these other muscle creams with hundreds of chemicals, we just take a few minutes with the essential oils that we've, made sure we eventually stocked up on. And then we just make up a few things, and then these last us. So I'm not like constantly making stuff because I don't have time to do that all day long either. We make.
You can try to project again. It must work. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Like it must work. All right, let's see. Fine. I'll show you, see if I could show the cabinet, and then I want to go to the VitaFlex. We're going to talk about application methods there. All right, share screen. Screen 2.
Double click on the screen what you want to show. Yes, we can see it.
Do you see ways I use essential oils?
Yes.
Hey, all right, I did it. I've done it before, but I don't know what I was doing.
Beautiful cupboard.
Okay. So it's a little cabinet, and on the bottom here I have a little grapeseed oil or carrier oil. I'll keep it in a little bottle like this, so that way when you want to, when I add in an essential oil into a roller, I mean, of course, you have to take the top off, and the roller fitment, it's called, and this pops out, not super easy. So you got to kind of play around a little bit. I usually take like a paper towel and then go like this, and then it pops out. The cap can actually pop it out too, but I'd practice the caps doing that. So, but you put in your drops, whatever the recipe you might have that you're going to make something. And then once you pour in your drops, you count, take a minute or so. Oh, some essential oils come out real fast. Some come out really slow, like vetiver, and that it's got a thicker viscosity of the oil. That's why it's just so thick, like maple syrup or something like that. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just the way that essential oil is. But having this to drop in the carrier oil, it just makes it easier than trying to big bottle to try to dump into the little tiny 10 ml. So these little dropper bottles, I fill it with carrier oil and then use the dropper to add the carrier oil to there. So it's pretty basic. But basically, as you can see, and here I'm just saying that I use essential oils to support every one of my body systems for every one of my needs, whatever it is. I love to do the DIY. Now, there are some essential oil companies that make everything for you. Young Living certainly does, which is one of the ones I support. They make a lot of blends for you. So if you're not into making anything yourself, no worries, they make a lot of blends. I like to make them because I get to customize them a little bit, and it definitely is easier on the wallet. So to do it that way. And then you have this big bottle of oil left over after I pulled out 10 drops. I still have, 80 drops in a 5 ml, or if I got a 15 ml bottle, I have almost 300 drops. So this is going to last me for months and months and months and months and months, maybe even a year or longer, as I pull what I want from it for whatever I'm making. So my cabinet, and then every month I have a couple things. I'll pick up this or that. And when I'm just like, if you're going grocery shopping, that's, instead of going and buying ibuprofen and muscle rub, I'll say, okay, I need lavender and frankincense this month or something like that. And then that's how I'll go from there. Okay, so I will be.
Can you also experiment with this and see what it does for you? So to say, learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, like, I definitely recommend the reference guide. So, like, if you want to go beyond lavender for sleep, for instance, I keep going back to sleep, but you look up sleep and you see what oils are recommended, and if you come across valerian, for instance, and, you read and it has, properties that will, like neurotoxins, they'll put you to sleep, they'll calm you down. So you can try it and see how it helps you, because some people's like lavender might not help them for sleep. They might need something a little stronger. So like when I make a sleep roller that I'm sharing in the recipe and the links today, I put lavender, valerian, vetiver. Now valerian stinky oil, but it is an amazing oil. So I will put 10 drops of lavender, 8 drops of 3 drops of vetiver, 3 drops of patchouli, because those are strong too. And patchouli is another one good for sleep, but only 1 drop of valerian because it's a strong smelling essential oil, but very effective. But yeah, there's no reason why you can't experiment a little bit. I would try to stay within the parameters of what is this oil good for? What is it that you're wanting to address? And then you go from there. And then you can, if there's 10 different recommended oils, and you may not like the smell of one oil that just bothers you, or you may love. And here's another thing. Your body knows if you smell an oil and you're drawn to it, your body needs it.
Lisa, I'll just also jump in here for a second. This is a really interesting question that Vladimir has brought up. I had my Ayurvedic teacher, who was also an aromatherapist. She worked a lot with the Bach flower remedies. And if you came to her with a particular issue or problem you were trying to solve that she felt that one of the Bach flower remedies could solve, what she would do is exactly what you said. First, kind of limit it down to 3 or 4 that are very specific for that. And then she would just tell you, why don't you meditate on it? Why don't you contemplate? Why don't you kind of see what you're drawn to and pick that one that you want to try? So using a little bit of intuition, but first kind of narrowing it down so at least you're within the right parameters.
Right.
But connecting on a more subtle level with what essential oils may work for you and which may not, and then experimenting like Vladimir mentioned.
Absolutely. Yep, that's the way to go. And the more you start to do it and you start to get the benefits or feel like this worked or this helped or I like this, fast forward, boom, all of a sudden 6 months or a year later, you're drawn to them, you're using them, you're not missing the other stuff you were using before. And you're like, oh, thank gosh I have this, and thank gosh I have this, and right at the drop of a hat, because after, once you get started, like for me, it was a little bit of a fever, but I started getting the oils, and I'm on a monthly thing where I get, I change what I need every month or whatever. But I keep my oil cabinet stocked in a way that I would keep my pantry stocked for feeding my family, because it's also the medicinal needs that we have in so many ways. Like I have a throat spray with cinnamon bark, clove, and lemon, and water. And it's a mouth spray, it's a throat spray if we have a little bit of sore throat or something like that, and it works wonders. And it doesn't take really that, it's like pennies, drops, pennies per drop, 8 cents a drop, 10 cents a drop. So you can do the math. Frankincense a little higher, I think it's like 15 cents a drop. But you can make some quick, simple, easy remedies, daily common needs, if you will, for a few dollars here and there, the same or even less, in the long run. You get the initial investment of picking up the essential oils, but then what you're able to produce from that one bottle over a period of time for so many different things, it's almost like mind-boggling what you can accomplish, and the home cleaning. Oh, I never started on that, because it's just amazing to be able to clean a home with essential oil stuff. One of the things that you can make your own cleaning products, and that may not be for today, but I know that Young Living sells Thieves cleaning line, and some people may have already heard of it. It's phenomenal. It's plant-based with the cinnamon bark and the clove and the lemon and peppermint and stuff like that. the stuff, it's concentrated. You get this big bottle, for instance, it's a concentrated plant-based, and by concentrated, so what I mean is it's in the $24 range for this bottle, but you can get probably about 20 something spray bottles full of cleaning products out of it. So it'd be less than $1 for a big spray bottle of cleaning, because you only need a cap full, maybe 2, and then you fill it with water. That's it. I clean everything with it. The bathroom, the counters, the mirrors, doesn't streak, everything. It's fantastic. So it eliminates all these other chemical cleaners that I no longer use anymore. And those add up price wise too. You start getting into, and the chemicals and the toxin in our body. So
We want to place our order immediately, Lisa. That sounds absolutely phenomenal, because we're using 4, 5, 6 different types of cleaning solutions for different things, and here you can buy one to do like 90% of what you need.
Yep, I'm so done with it, and I'm so happy with it.
Yeah.
That's one of the most favorites of people that use Young Living, is the Thieves cleaning line is phenomenal. I'm about to go to the ingesta oils, because I know we've got to start watching the time, and after that we'll wrap up with a few odds and ends, maybe some questions. I had mentioned too, like this is a foaming pump, like if people like foaming soap, hand soap, for instance. I like it straight from a regular soap dispenser. So there's choices. I buy Castile soap online, usually a big bottle, like about this size. I don't have the Castile soap in front of me. Going to be like maybe $9 or $10 of the Castile soap, wherever, you choose to shop online. Young Living doesn't sell Castile soap in particular, but I will take the Castile soap, and to make a foaming hand soap. Now in the stores, a foaming hand soap could run $3, $4, right? Maybe $2.50 or something like that. And the ingredient list is long. Well, I put in unscented Castile soap, only a tablespoon, and then the rest is water. And I think it's like a tablespoon of witch hazel, the low alcohol content. And then you add in 15 to 20 drops of your favorite essential oils, or ones that are good for microbial effects, like cinnamon bark and clove. But if you're tired of those smells, you don't have to do that. You can do frankincense, and you can do lavender, lemongrass. You can make your own foaming. So our house has all hand soaps throughout the whole house. So we've ditched and switched. We've eliminated all of those chemicals. So that's another good way to start. I was telling you about the Flairosol bottles yesterday. Here it is. And you can spray. This is just essential oils, water, and witch hazel, and a little bit of witch hazel. I think it just helps bind the molecules of the essential oils a little bit better. And that's our room sprays, our bathroom sprays. So no plugins, no other sprays loaded with chemicals. We are killing ourselves and poisoning ourselves in the house with the cleaning and the plugins and all these other products that we put on our bodies every day. And so to switch takes just a little bit of time and effort and commitment, but it is so worth it, because once you do, you're going to be healthier, you're going to feel healthier. And if you have young kids, you're going to start setting them up for thinking that way later on in life, and being mindful of their choices that can affect their gut health, their reproductive systems. They're saying with the amount of plastics in everything out there, that they're saying that the reproduction might be a major issue in 2050. My son was just telling me about it. I was like, I'm proud of you finding a resource like that. So I want to get that resource and read on about it a little bit more. But it's alarming. But I really think if we start making choices for ourselves, our families, that's a good thing, and maybe the healthcare situation will work out. Who knows? Because it's not being done right. Okay. Ingesting essential oils, dietary support. I have to mention Young Living, because I don't know any other company that has this. They have a Vitality line with white labels like this. And they are GRAS, GRAS, generally regarded as safe. They have been FDA approved for consumption. The reason why they put the white label on it versus not a white label, for instance, is because that way it's easily identifiable as a oil that is safe to ingest. Now, not like drink out of the bottle ingest, but that, like there's certain oils like tea tree, you cannot ingest tea tree. So if you were to shop for their essential oils, you want to go the dietary route, you really want to make sure you're getting a pure, good quality essential oil that is pure as possible, especially if you're going to use it medicinally and ingest dietary. A way you can do that is with taking it in a vegetable capsule. I wish I had the bottle in front of me. I was trying to think earlier, everything I wanted to show. It looks like a regular gel capsule, like you would buy any supplement. They're clear vegetable capsules. They sell them and you could buy them online too. And basically you just put in 1 drop. I always say to start off low. Some people do 3 or 4 drops and 1 drop. So let's just say you want to try and you're having a little bit of digestive issues, for an example, and then we'll move on because I can give links and so much other stuff later. 1 drop of ginger, maybe even a drop of peppermint. And then I put a little bit of carrier oil in there, a little bit of grapeseed oil in that capsule, just to help it dilute a little bit so it doesn't hit your stomach super hard. And that's where the capsule comes into play, because it's a special coating. I think it's called enteric coating. It's a special coating that will not degrade the essential oil by the acids of your stomach before it gets time released to go and do what it needs to do, for instance. So that's a good way. And some people will, you could put 1 drop of, let's just say, the ginger, if you're looking for a settle your stomach a little bit, or if you're having reflux, put a drop in honey, a teaspoon of honey, or in a cup of tea. So there are other ways to ingest if you didn't want to do the capsule route. The Vitality line you can absolutely use for cooking. I'll put a drop of basil in my tomato sauce, a big pot, only 1 drop because it's strong, or a drop of oregano. Oregano, I'll sometimes even just do a toothpick dip and then disperse it that way because oregano is very strong. Citrus oils, I'll put a drop of the lemon, grapefruit, great for eliminating toxins and for digestion and reflux. And a drop in water. I'll put 1 drop in my water. And sometimes I'll put a little pinch of salt in there, or a little pinch of sugar, but a little pinch of salt preferably, because it'll just help the molecules bind to it. So your first sip isn't all lemon, it disperses through the glass of water. That's another great way. All right. One more last thing I wanted to talk about, the recipe I'm going to send in the links later for like a tummy roller. A good way to apply that, because you might need it later, is on the stomach, and you rub it into your tummy just like that. And I wanted to show the VitaFlex chart real quick. So I'm going to do a quick screen share. And are we okay to go over a few more minutes here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here is some VitaFlex charts. Okay. Now, you got your feet, your ear. Now, I know you can't read everything around it, but it is to all parts of the body. So basically, I just cover the whole ear. I cover it all because it's hard to just get that one little spot, or let's say the bottom of your toe. You can just put something on the bottom of your big toe to cover your pituitary gland. But I just, whatever it is I want to address, I'll just rub it on the bottom of my feet. It's going to all go and do good stuff. I haven't had any problems. You can massage is another way as well. Even your hands have VitaFlex. So even just when you're doing aromatherapy, you're already VitaFlexing into your body. So it's pretty cool. Now in Ayurveda, which I don't have charts, but I know that you guys might be able to provide if anybody wants, there are, the way that they look at it is called the marma points, that I believe. And there are certain application areas of the body for essential oils to go in. So if you were looking to stick to the Ayurveda, you would want to use your marma points. But basically, just topical applications on your body, you're going to get the benefits. But, there is a lot about being specific on what parts of the body. Did I stop screen share?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you're willing, when we send out the links after this program for other stuff, I'll send you the links for everyone. If you wanted to include a link for marma points, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Yes, there's one other thing that I think I need to screen share real quick, and that is about not all oils are created equal. And that is where we would be getting into some safety stuff that I would be concerned about, because are we seeing not oils are created equal?
Yes.
Okay. There are different grades of essential oils, and some of them are really only known as floral waters. Like if you actually pick up an essential oil from a gas station or something for like $5 for lavender, I'm sorry, but you are not going to be getting an essential oil that is to be considered safe for medicinal use. You know, you could, even on the back of some of the boxes of the essential oil sold in some stores, some other local stores and stuff, actually say on the back and the bottom in small print, do not inhale. So, you know, I would really consider doing a little homework, and there are only a few companies out there that I look at their practices. I'm going to include a link in the stuff we're going to send later for seed to seal practices that Young Living does, from having virgin soil, and they have it tested for no chemicals, to every distillation step that they do. If something gets overheated by a lower grade essential oil, it could still, there's no regulation there, they may pass it through, they add synthetics, other chemicals, things that could be very harmful to us. And I like the disclosure Young Living has, and you can visit their farms, and every step of the way they have their scientists, the practices, they're mindful of global impact, community. They have a foundation that helps people as well. It's just phenomenal. So, but they have very good quality. There are a few other companies out there. Just do your research. That is the most important thing you can do, because you definitely don't want to especially consider ingesting an essential oil just because it's $10 cheaper. You could be harming your health. Okay. I guess finally, with all the practical tips, just everywhere you can ditch and switch in your house, start low and slow. Maybe you choose with your foaming hand soap. You know, when back to healthier eating the other day, you know, maybe switching some of the snacks in your home for your kids. Start looking at the ingredients that I sent all the links. The links are sent out. We could send them to other people too, with the list from the environmental working group of ingredients to start being mindful of. Stay away from your preservatives, your artificial dyes, eat clean and healthy, lots of vegetables, lean meat, fish. It's pretty simple. This information's been out there now. It's out there. You just a couple of quick Google searches. And I just can't be passionate enough just to take the time, because your health is so worth it. And there's so many other neat things that you can do. I'm going to tell you about my daily routine, and then we'll wrap it up from there. And I'm also going to send links to everybody about my services. And if you wanted to get started with me, with support with Young Living and how that all works, if anybody has questions before I get off on that, I can answer them live, or we can you know, chat with anybody afterwards or via email. And I love to support people, because I once was given support when I first got started, and that was detrimental. It was detrimental. And okay, so in the morning, I will apply essential oil that will be uplifting for me. You know, it could be a citrusy oil. I have a blend that actually has rose and jasmine and some other oils in there, and makes me feel good. While I'm exercising, I'll do a little bit of yoga, early morning, late morning, midday, never too late. I get too tired, but I make sure I squeeze it in 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, without exception, because that is very integral into your whole health. It's not just eating healthy, it's the sleep, it's the exercise. We have to do all of those things, not just one of those things, because otherwise it's just not going to work. And you have to stay committed. Yes, we can cheat once in a while, but so that's that. I add lemon to my water in the morning. I do have a cup of coffee every morning with 1 to 2 teaspoons of honey. It's still sugar, but it's still one of the better choices of sugar. It took me a while to do that, but I love honey's got amazing benefits, especially if you buy local raw honey. I would recommend. And sometimes I'll have tea with lemon too, and with honey. I also have 1 ounce of Ninja Red every day, which is a total body antioxidant supplement drink that Young Living provides. And I could send a link on the Ninja Red too. It's incredible. It's delicious. And then I just take 1 ounce a day and it gives me lots of vitamins. I take many supplements for my joints, bones, digestion, gut, immune system, antioxidants, cardiovascular, skin. If anybody wants to know more about them, I'd be glad to share it with them in a private message. I'll just name them, but they're sulfurzyme, allerzyme, essentialzyme, stuff for digestion. Sulfurzyme is good for bones and joints. Multi-greens covers a lot of other extra greens, vitamins from the greens that we may not be getting the 8 servings a day we're supposed to have. Super B vitamin is very important. C is very important, especially with the coronavirus out there, and D, vitamin D. Vitamin K is good for cardiovascular. I take vitamin K, and not all of these are Young Living, but 80% of my supplements are, because they are amazing plant-based with essential oils, with the added benefits of the essential oils as well, which increases absorption rate of the mineral or the vitamin that we need too. So I think they're fabulous. Super calcium, and I have collagen supplement also, which is good for skin. I skip breakfast about 3 days a week, not by choice, just if I'm not hungry, I won't eat. They say breakfast is a good part of the day, but I think it's okay to skip it sometimes if you're not hungry. But don't go too long. I try to, by the time noon rolls around, that's it. I can't wait no more. I try to have, when I do have breakfast, other days a week, it's typically low sugar, like a Greek yogurt with added fruit, mango, perhaps. I'll have a banana, some strawberries, blueberries. If I really want to eat, I'll go for my couple of eggs. I'll make an omelet heavy with vegetables. I love sauteed vegetables like spinach or kale or Swiss chard, mushrooms, onions, asparagus, and stuff like that. I'll put in omelet. And I'll even add a slice of cheese, because a little cheese ain't gonna hurt you either. Cheese is good for you, just not in excess. Whole grain toast, butter, love butter. I haven't quite crossed over to the ghee line yet, because ghee's quite pricey. So I'll just have the butter. But ghee, they say, is an excellent source of fat, because our bodies do need some fat. So I will go for like whole grain waffles. I always, and I'll make my own pancakes and stuff. I just try to, if I buy anything in a box, I just read those ingredients. I'm looking for the companies that are putting out natural ingredients and less ingredients, simple ingredients, 8 ingredients, not 30. Turkey, chicken, sausage, if I want that with breakfast. Lunch, I love salads. I have lots of salads. They sell sweet potato wraps now, chia seed wraps. There's, whole grain toast and bread. So there's so many options out there now, and that taste better than they used to. I have to say, because there was a time where it wasn't that great. I just realized I had my screen over here, so I'm not looking in the camera, and now I am. But I'll have like a turkey or a chicken salad, and sometimes I'll just grill some chicken breasts for the week, and then when I have it for dinner, I'll take the leftover and make chicken salad out of it. One day a week I might make a homemade soup, so I might have a little bowl of soup for lunch, a vegetable soup or something like that with bone broth. I love antipasta. Mediterranean diet's really good too. A little cheese, some olives, some healthy crackers perhaps. That's okay to have for lunch. I eat pizza, I just try to be mindful of what's on it, and if I make my own, I try to be a little bit more particular about the crust and stuff like that. But I cheat sometimes. In the midday, if I'll also, I think I said I apply my essential oils and stuff in the morning, and in the midday, sometimes I feel like I need to apply it again, depending on what I'm doing, because it just, after a while you get used to it, your body feels like it needs it and you're missing it. And I've actually witnessed that with my husband, because he didn't start using essential oils right away like I did. And it took him a little bit to catch on. And once he started, he was getting more interested. And then when he had an issue, I was like, well, try this, try this, try this. And now I see him walking around with putting lavender and juniper on his mustache. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, it's helping me. It's making me feel better. Whatever. He's got his own regimen now going on. So, but applying essential oils as needed throughout the day for emotions, for pain, for energy. A drop of peppermint can do wonders, but a drop of peppermint in a glass of water is potent. Some people can do it. I would prefer that in a veggie capsule. I believe peppermint has actually been banned from Olympic sports because it's such a good energy stimulant. So it does work. So mixed grain seeded crackers and stuff like that with maybe for a snack in the afternoon. Again, cheese, olives, a handful of fruit, a little bit of dark chocolate. It's good for you. Make sure it's 70% or better. And then dinner, lean meat, fish, seafood, heavy veggies. I'll do potatoes and pasta, but not all the time. But I've switched more to brown rice pastas. Tinkyata is an amazing brand of brown rice pasta that tastes so good, especially if you love pasta. That's been hard for me. Or if you do have white pasta, and now they have garbanzo bean pastas and lentil pastas. So try some of the different ones that are out there. Some you're gonna like, some you're not, but that's how you're gonna find out. If you do buy white pasta, I highly recommend, unfortunately, to choose one that's made from Italy, comes from Italy, because they banned they're non-GMO. They're non-GMO. So they're not gonna be as taxing on your digestive system. Now it is white flour that still breaks down to too much sugar in the body. You get into insulin resistance and other problems we talked about in part 1. But, you know, just here in America, we're not producing, unless it says non-GMO on the box, then you're probably okay. And then again, at bedtime, I try to avoid eating a couple hours before bed. Once in a while, me and my husband, we want a snack or watching a movie, we'll go ahead and try to have healthy. He's a little tougher, stop him, but I'll do like a ice pop or a fudge bar. And again, I shop for ingredients that are all natural, dark chocolate, fruit, popcorn with olive oil is amazing. You don't need butter. You could do butter, but olive oil. But again, I try to avoid eating later at night for sure. Your body needs to rest. And at bedtime, I will diffuse my sleep oils, and I have a roller blend that everybody's going to get in the recipe, and the link is for sleep. And I apply it to my VitaFlex and got my oils diffusing. And my shoulder, my knees, whatever's bothering me, I have is an oil for that. So I oil up, and I'll walk in the store and people go, "You use essential oils?" I'm like, "You bet," because you can smell them on me. But if you don't like the topical application too much for some reason, then you just can diffuse. You can do some ingesting depending. So that's pretty much my daily routine. If anybody has any questions or wants to know a little bit more about anything with Young Living, I can answer those questions. In closing, I would like to say that to choose plant-based as much as you can, and that includes not just foods, essential oils, personal care items like deodorant, shampoo, soaps, the whole bit, cleaning products, supplements. Make sure you get proper sleep, exercise, and reduce those toxins with a little research, and managing your stress. That's another tough one, but we can do it. And I will be glad to share all my links with everybody. My website, theoilrunners.com. I have a free newsletter on there every month that you can read. I think I shared the May link in the last email after the Sunday segment. And I guess that's about it. And thank you so much for having me to share in this time.
Well, thank you, Lisa. And you walk your talk. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. You live the life that you preach to others, and it's just wonderful to see that all this knowledge you've applied not only to yourself but to your family, and willing to share. And for those listening, we've hosted Lisa, I want to say this is the 4th or 5th time. She is one of the most knowledgeable person that I know in this whole essential oil area, in that she is using it day in and day out, and she is an educator in this area, and it's just part of her life. And so when you supplement with that or complement with that, just good living habits like you've been suggesting about what to eat, when to sleep, etc. You can see by the light in your around you and in your skin. You exude the type of lifestyle that you suggest to others. So it's always just so wonderful to have you, Lisa, and you're very generous with your knowledge and your information. So we will be sure to get out to everybody that had registered for that second set of links along with the link to this webinar. But
Great.
we very much thank you,
Yeah.
Lisa.
Thank you,
Oh, thank
Lisa.
you
But
so much.
there is one question from
Yes, please, if anybody
Maurice.
has any
From
questions.
Maurice, a friend of mine almost lost his sense of taste. I don't know why. Is there a link with smell also that could be he used for aromatherapy to improve it?
Yeah. I would have to look that up for you right off the top of my head, because I don't want to say anything that's not accurate, but there is, and that's another thing that's important about support. Like anybody that decided to, let's just say, even join in Young Living with me as their support by just using my reference number, they're going to get special support. And I'm going to make sure that's included in the links and just that little bit of information so people would be aware. It's going to send them to my website with a few links so they can see what I would offer and how they would go about receiving services. But the support is so important because I learn a lot in my oil community as well, and we share with each other. And the community is so important because everybody has different things going on and problems and situations, and there's an oil for that, but it's not just the oil, it's also the lifestyle like I talked about. So, detoxing, getting your body cleaner, like I said, is so important. And that's a first step. But there are aromatherapy and things that can enhance and help some situations, even in the meantime. But it can get better once we eliminate some other lifestyle things that we might be doing that can be the first thing to start reducing some of those problems, perhaps.
And I have one more question from my side. Radha, you wanted to say something?
No, I didn't know you had a question. I was just going to conclude.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, Vladimir. What was that again? You said he had to taste something with the taste. He can't
taste.
He can't taste?
Yes. He has a problem with the taste.
Did he have coronavirus?
I do not know. There is nothing said about it.
I was just wondering because that seems to be a big side effect for some people.
Yeah, smell and taste.
Yeah,
people lose smell.
Lose smell. Yeah.
All right. I wanted to ask something which is bothering me for quite some time. When I was in India, we had very kind of royal Indians from Marwari families, very rich families, and they were inviting others for dinner. And the dinner was only to smell different herbs and different, not to eat at all. There was nothing to eat. There was, and I have a question. Can the smell be nourishing our body?
I think it can be because it's going to go, like I said, it goes work on a cellular level. So it can nourish emotions. It can nourish, other needs that our body has.
Energies, yes, in a way.
Absolutely. Energy and the whole spectrum of emotions. There's so many different ways to support our emotions, which is a big place to start. If we're trying to feed, satisfying something through aromatherapy, certainly it's not going to satisfy our hunger. Maybe, I mean, it's possible, but maybe only for a little bit.
Well, can we say that this is the nourishment for our vital being or for our emotional being, as we
absolutely
call it?
Absolutely.
But it is a big nourishment in a way.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, it triggers. I mean, the smells can trigger memories, good memories, right? But they can also trigger bad memories. So it's very much connected to the vital and to the emotions, and therefore connected to the brain that's making also its own conclusions to it.
The endocrine system, our hormones, everything. And there's certain oils I can apply, and for what I need it for, what I want to use it for, and I feel like I get that. It's you don't know it until you experience it. And then when you experience it and then you want it again because you're not getting it or you're not feeling it, and then you use that oil again, and it's almost like an addiction. But it's a good one. So I think 100% that it can do that.
I would just add, because this is really interesting, that this issue of smell and what it can trigger, these attars that I think you may or may not have mentioned from India. These are very specialized essential oils that have been picked at the right time of the moon, with mantra, with prayers being said, very concentrated. And when you use them, they actually, or you don't even have to use them, you smell them.
Yeah.
And they affect not only the physical and the emotional and mental, but they have this spiritual. They're very, very refined and potentized, charged with this refined energy, that it also is said to have an impact on the spiritual level and can open up chakras, etc. So it's
and that's
something
another area I want to learn so badly, that I have a lot of material on it, and I've yet to dive in on it, the whole chakra and essential oils, and how that can support your spiritual energy and all the chakras and everything. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a whole, oh gosh, it's just a whole wide, wonderful world for that. And so you're going
to have to just come back, Lisa. We're going to be hosting you for eternity, but I would love to follow up with you personally and find out, what hit me most in this session is we ought to be doing, I ought to be using some of these products and recommendations you made for the house cleaning and house maintenance, because I swear you open up under the sink, there's 6, 7, 8 different bottles, and depending what I'm doing, and there's no need for that is what I'm hearing. So this has been incredibly helpful, and I would like to use, some of your suggestions at LaGrasse and at my own home. So really,
I'll include, if you give me just until the morning, even a few extra tidbits on the link page that we'll send out to everyone in email, with make sure it's got just that little bit of extra information in case they're interested in knowing about that, the cleaning specifically. I could even have a link straight to the Thieves Cleaning page, just so they can see it and look at it for themselves that way. But
yeah, and many more things, soaps and maybe washing body, shampoos, sleeping things. We need this knowledge. We want to introduce it. Yeah.
Yeah, little by little. And that's what I call the ditch and switch, because it could be overwhelming to try to do everything all at once. So you just decide what you want to start first, whether it be supplements out. And I have a link I'm sending to everybody. It's called, I did a Facebook post class called Support Your Core, and it does talk about all of the supplements at Young Living, but at least it gives you an idea of what's in them and how they work and what they're designed to do. And it is all about ones for your immune system and your digestive system and stuff. So, but whether you wanted to start with essential oil use, supplement use, home cleaning, makeup, oh my God, they have makeup. I use all mineral makeup because I got rid of all my chemical makeup, and I switched to that now for probably about 4 years. I've been using it and I love it. And that's just another area that I don't have the toxins going into my body, like the cleaning products. I'm not breathing in all these chemicals like, when I'm cleaning my bathroom anymore, and that we're walking around with brain fogs, headaches, migraines, nausea, fatigue. I bet you half of it's from our own environment in our homes, from the products that we're ingesting, consuming, applying, breathing in. We can eliminate a lot of that. Our homes should be our sanctuary. Our bodies should be. So at the very least, because there's only so much we could do with the outside world.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye.
Namaste.